What if Brazil's biggest World Cup nightmare isn't their opponents? What if it isn't Argentina, or France, or even England? What if Brazil's biggest threat is something much closer to home? One man, one injury, one superstar carrying the hopes of more than 200 million people. Neymar Jr. Right now, questions are spreading across the football world faster than ever before. Is Neymar really healthy? Can he continue performing at the level Brazil desperately needs? Or is Brazil heading toward a disaster that nobody wants to talk about? Because behind the celebrations, behind the victories, and behind the confidence shown in public, there are growing concerns that Neymar may not be operating anywhere near 100%. And if that's true, everything changes. Brazil's tactics change. Brazil's confidence changes. Brazil's chances of winning the World Cup change. Tonight we're breaking down the injury concerns surrounding Neymar, why fans are starting to panic, why the coaching staff may be facing their biggest challenge yet, and what this could mean for Brazil's dream of lifting football's most important trophy. But before we begin, if you love FIFA World Cup news, football drama, transfer stories, and the biggest controversies from around the world, make sure to subscribe right now and turn on notifications. Because the stories coming out of World Cup 2026 are absolutely unbelievable. Now let's get into it. For years, Neymar has been more than just a football player. He has been Brazil's symbol of hope. The player expected to create magic when nobody else can. The player expected to unlock defenses. The player expected to deliver in the biggest moments. Whenever Brazil enters a major tournament, one question always dominates the conversation. Can Neymar lead Brazil to glory? But this World Cup feels different. Very different. Because for the first time in a long time, fans aren't only talking about Neymar's talent. They're talking about his condition. They're talking about his fitness. And they're talking about whether his body can survive the pressure of an entire World Cup campaign. The concern isn't necessarily about one match. It's about surviving the tournament. Because winning a World Cup requires more than moments of brilliance. It requires consistency, energy, explosiveness, recovery, and above all, fitness. Without those things, even the greatest players on earth struggle. And that is exactly why many Brazilian supporters are becoming nervous. Every sprint matters. Every challenge matters. Every time Neymar goes down after contact, millions of hearts stop beating for a second, because nobody knows what could happen next. But here's where things become even more interesting. Brazil's entire system has often been built around Neymar. Not officially, not on paper, but in reality. When things become difficult, players naturally look toward their superstar. When a defense becomes impossible to break down, they look toward Neymar. When creativity disappears, they look toward Neymar. When the pressure rises, they look toward Neymar. That dependence creates a dangerous situation. Because when one player becomes the emotional center of a team, any concern involving that player affects everyone. Not just him, the entire squad. And that may be exactly what Brazil is dealing with right now. Imagine being a young Brazilian player entering a crucial World Cup match. You look around the dressing room. You see world-class talent everywhere. But deep down, everyone knows who the main star is. Everyone knows who carries the spotlight. Everyone knows who the fans expect to save the day. Now imagine hearing questions about that player's physical condition. Suddenly uncertainty begins creeping into people's minds. And uncertainty is dangerous in football. Very dangerous. But that's not the whole story. Because the pressure isn't only affecting the players. It may also be affecting Brazil's coaching staff. Think about the difficult decisions facing the manager. Do you play Neymar every minute? Do you rest him? Do you protect him? Do you trust him to play through discomfort? Every option comes with risk. Play him too much and you risk worsening the problem. Rest him and you risk weakening the team. Push him too hard and you could lose him entirely. Protect him too much and Brazil may lose momentum. It's a nightmare scenario. And that's why managing a superstar during a World Cup can be one of the hardest jobs in football. Every decision becomes headline news. Every substitution becomes controversial. Every training session becomes a story, and every physical setback becomes front-page drama. As the tournament continues, the pressure only gets bigger. Group stage matches are challenging. Knockout matches are brutal. Every opponent becomes stronger. Every mistake becomes more expensive. Every weakness becomes easier to expose. And if Neymar isn't fully comfortable physically, opponents will notice. Elite teams study everything. They analyze every movement, every sprint, every reaction, every sign of discomfort. If they sense weakness, they attack it. That's what great teams do. And Brazil knows this better than anyone. Which is why protecting Neymar may have become one of the most important missions inside the camp. Meanwhile, fans continue debating one massive question. Can Brazil win the World Cup without a fully fit Neymar? Some believe yes. After all, Brazil still possesses incredible talent. The squad is packed with stars. The attack is dangerous. The midfield is creative. The defense is experienced. On paper, Brazil remains one of the strongest teams in the competition. But football isn't played on paper. It's played under pressure. And pressure changes everything. History shows us that great tournaments are often decided by moments. One pass, one shot, one piece of magic. And Neymar has built his career around producing those moments. That's why so many supporters remain worried. Because replacing goals is difficult. Replacing creativity is difficult. Replacing leadership is difficult. Replacing belief is almost impossible. And this is where the psychological side becomes important. Football isn't only physical. It's mental. The strongest teams believe they can win. The strongest teams expect to win. The strongest teams walk onto the pitch with confidence. Neymar provides that confidence. His presence alone changes how opponents think. His reputation changes how defenders react. His experience changes how teammates feel. When Neymar is smiling, Brazil feels dangerous. When Neymar looks uncomfortable, questions begin appearing everywhere. And questions create doubt. Doubt creates hesitation. Hesitation creates mistakes. And mistakes end World Cup dreams. But perhaps the biggest concern isn't the injury itself. It's the uncertainty. Nobody likes uncertainty. Fans don't like it. Players don't like it. Coaches definitely don't like it. Because uncertainty creates endless speculation. Every training session becomes news. Every photograph becomes evidence. Every facial expression becomes a headline. People start analyzing everything. Did Neymar look tired? Did he move differently? Did he seem frustrated? Was he holding back? Was he protecting himself? The conversation never stops. And sometimes the pressure created by those conversations can become almost as difficult as the injury itself. Yet despite all these concerns, there is still hope. A lot of hope. Because Neymar has faced adversity before. He has overcome criticism before. He has overcome setbacks before. He has spent years proving doubters wrong. That's why many supporters continue believing. They know his talent. They know his determination. And they know that great players often produce their best moments when people begin questioning them. Maybe this tournament will be no different. Maybe the concerns are being exaggerated. Maybe Neymar is preparing to silence everyone. Maybe the best chapter of his World Cup story hasn't happened yet. And if that's true, Brazil could become even more dangerous. Because nothing motivates elite athletes more than doubt. Still, the reality remains clear. Brazil is walking a very thin line. One side leads toward glory. The other leads toward heartbreak. The margin separating those outcomes is incredibly small. And Neymar's condition may ultimately determine which path Brazil follows. That's why the football world continues watching. That's why the headlines continue growing. And that's why this controversy refuses to disappear. Because the stakes are simply too high. We're not talking about an ordinary player. We're talking about Neymar. We're talking about Brazil. We're talking about the FIFA World Cup. And in a tournament where one moment can change history, nothing feels more important than the health of Brazil's biggest superstar. So what do you think? Is Neymar healthy enough to carry Brazil all the way to the World Cup trophy? Or are these injury concerns a warning sign of bigger problems ahead? Let us know your prediction in the comments below. Can Brazil still become world champions? Or is this the beginning of a World Cup nightmare? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.